Hey everyone, Sim Racing Dan here, finally doing that video of my rig that everyone's been asking for. Start out with the video camera that sits behind me, this Panasonic HDC SD60. The reason I picked this camera is that it lets me set the focus manually and also the exposure. All those manual controls are really important when you're trying to record a television screen like I've got here, because they can be really tricky, and the autofocus and the auto brightness often has a lot of trouble with them, blows out the screen and looks terrible. So let's go next. So we have the Sim Experience Stage 2. Sim Experience. So the Stage 2 is with the two actuators, and I'll show you the seat moving in a bit. Got a play seat bolted on because it doesn't come with a chair, so just made the platform for it like that. I have G-Force real racing harness on there, only 4-point because I don't need the 5-point. Moving on, let's talk about the wheel. I've just got the Fanatec Club Sport with the Formula rim, and that's very nice. The rim comes off, and this is it's really just a real race car hub. So you can take their rim, the BMW rim that Fanatec sells, can be mounted to a BMW GT2 car, and it can also go right on here. So it's got all kinds of nice things. If you haven't looked at a review, I'll just go over it quickly. You know, it's got a bunch of nice buttons. This is an analog stick, which I haven't gotten to work in iRacing to look around, but I don't really need it because I've got the 3 screens. It's got a bunch of settings you can change, so you know, you can go you know, the sensitivity and the force feedback and the dead zone and stuff like that. This is a knob that rotates. I've got it set up so that this is my speaking to everyone in iRacing. This is my chat for the team. These two buttons, the purple ones here, go up and down. You can see the relative standing moving up and down, and then these two change settings. So if I go to fuel real quick, you can see I'm changing the amount of fuel added to the car with these. Pit speed limiter and brake balance, and I think I've set these up for something, but I don't use them enough to remember. Now that wasn't enough buttons for me, so I've kept the G27 shifter section here. So I choose my different black boxes. Like, this is the fuel, tires, that's to get in and out of the car, that's time, that's relative. But it's a lot easier to use these buttons to switch stuff than it is to use these, and so that's good. Obviously got my mouse right there. Now, you probably remember seeing me use this, the Derek Spear shifter, which is a very nice sequential shifter. It was mounted right over there, but you can see where it is in relation to the wheel. The wheel has a fan on the output here, and so I had to remove that because it was going to block the fan output. Let's see. Oh, screens. Let's talk about the screens. These are just 37-inch televisions. They're 1080p. Vizio screens, LCD. They're not LED, but I'm sure you can't get them without being LED these days. They're really good because they don't have any delay like some televisions do. They're true 1080p. So they work really well for, you know, computer type application. And you can see this is the full kind of view that I get. I can't capture that wide a view from the camera because it just wouldn't work. It would be too small. So let's see. Moving on, I used to use these nice Logitech speakers, which are good, but they, of course, broadcast sound into the room, so I switched to just using the headphones, and that way I'm not trying to talk over the engine sound that's being picked up by the microphone. Okay, finally, the pedals. Canon Simulation Technologies. These are absolutely awesome pedals. A lot of people ask, will getting a new wheel like this help me be faster? I think this wheel helps me be more consistent. I'll talk about the differences between it and the G27 in a minute, but the pedals will definitely help you, because right here, check this thing out right there. What that is right there is a load cell. You can find them on bathroom scales, and you'll see as the pedal goes down, the load cell flexes, and it measures the pressure applied to it. Now, I've got two upgrades. I've got the heavy spring and the high weight or high loading load cell from Todd Cannon's product range, and those two things mean that I can put an enormous amount of pressure on the brakes. I think that if I remember correctly, the load cell can measure up to 80 pounds of force, and the spring also helps keep it. It requires extra force. Now, why? Well, two things. First of all, it's more realistic because you know, it's just more force. You got to push hard in order to brake, and that's how it is in a real car. And also, you can be a whole lot more consistent. See, in the travel-based pedals, like you'll find, you know, in the normal G27 or the clutch or the gas pedals, there's just a resistance measuring, a potentiometer that tells it whether you're, you know, how much you're braking or how much you're applying the gas. And the reason that's a problem for the brake is that you want to get right to the edge of where you lose grip, where you lock the wheels, threshold braking. So these really are awesome for that, because you can feel how much pressure you're applying here. It's not travel-based, where it's just like, oh, you know, a tiny bit of pressure and my foot moved too much and now I'm locking my wheels. With this, you really can apply a lot of pressure and can fine-tune the amount of pressure that you apply before the brakes lock. So that is key. Better braking, more speed. As far as the wheel compared to the G27, it's much smoother. I don't know if you can hear that well, but it's very smooth. It doesn't have the same teeth that the G27 has, even though, you know, for today the G27 was a big upgrade from what there was before, or G25 really was the big upgrade. It's got you know, paddles in the back also, so again, don't need the sequential shifter. Let's see, what else have I got? I think that's pretty much all. The audio is running directly out of this mixer board, so I've got the audio from my mic and the audio from the simulation running both into there, and that goes through these wires over to the computer in the other room that has the recording software. Alright, so let me quickly show you the chair moving. I'm gonna, oh, and of course I wear these pilotis when I'm driving, because these pedals are actually so rough they destroy socks. When you've got that load cell, and even the gas has pretty good resistance on it too, so particularly when you're heel and towing, you destroy socks if you don't wear shoes. So let me just push on the gas. You can sort of see the chair moves a little bit. Let me put it in gear. Alright, now we'll get the thing to move. So you can see, alright, I'm going to crash it here, because I'm not paying attention. There you go. And you get a sense for just how much the seat can move. It can really, really push you around, particularly if you're not expecting a hit. You can really get surprised. It's pretty powerful. Now I've got only the stage 2 of the sim experience, which means it's only the 2 axes here. The stage 3 actually puts the entire thing on another one, so that the frame itself moves back and forth, and that way you feel the rear loss of grip. The problem with that, for my setup, is that in order to do that, this whole frame needs to pivot, and all these 3 televisions are attached to the frame on these, you know, stands that I made on the side and on the front here. So I would have to either mount the televisions to the wall, or maybe switch to using projectors on a screen, which I'd love to do, because it would get rid of these bevels, but haven't gotten